Welcome to English and AI Academy. This is your deep dive into the future of language learning. Today, we are diving deep into how you can use powerful tools like ChatGPT to learn English faster and smarter. We really designed this deep dive for you, the learner. Think of it like getting a private tutor that is always ready, always personalized. It just fundamentally changes how you practice.
Absolutely. And that core idea, personalization, is really key here. We are not talking about just, some simple app.
Right.
ChatGPT uses really advanced technology. They're called large language models, or LLMs. So for our listeners, this isn't like a search engine. It's a model trained on just billions and billions of texts. What that means is it can generate sentences that sound really human, authentic, natural, not robotic at all. And I think the main benefit really is how it reduces learning anxiety. You know that fear you sometimes feel when you have to speak English? Well, that tends to disappear when your tutor is a patient AI. It never judges you. It never gets tired.
That's huge.
And it is available 24/7. So it really becomes this supportive conversation partner.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this a bit then. When we talk about improving skills today, we're mostly aiming at that intermediate level, B1 or B2. So B1, B2, that's the stage where you can handle daily stuff, right? Like travel, work, general chats. But maybe you still stumble on complex grammar or like the little differences between similar words. So our mission today is to give you the actual prompts, the exact instructions you can type in to help move you from that B1 confidence perhaps towards more B2 fluency.
Okay, first big hurdle for a lot of learners, vocabulary. You memorize these long lists, maybe from a book, but then you can't actually use the words correctly when you speak. It's like you have passive knowledge, but not active knowledge.
Exactly. That's the core problem. It isn't just about the number of words you know. It is learning words without context. That's the issue.
Yeah.
We need to sort of flip that switch, move away from static lists towards dynamic, usable language. You've got to focus on vocabulary that is actually relevant to your level and relevant to your life. Right. Make the learning efficient. So this first prompt we have, it helps cut through the noise, doesn't it? It targets useful words on a specific topic. So practical prompt 1 for topic focus. You ask ChatGPT something like, provide a vocabulary list of all the words I should know at a B1 level on the topic of maybe global warming or job interviews, something specific. And then, this is important, ask it. Sort the list by how commonly the words are used.
Yeah, that's really powerful because it forces the AI to prioritize. It gives you the practical words first, the ones used in daily communication, not those really rare or super formal words you might only see in like academic papers. It really directs your focus.
Okay, so now you have a list. Good start. But how do we make that information dynamic? Turn it into something you can actually use?
Well, you need to see the word in action, in a sentence that makes sense to you at your level. So practical prompt 2 is about seeing usage. You give ChatGPT the list of words you want to study, maybe from prompt 1. Then you ask it. Provide a definition and an example sentence for each word. Present this information in a table format.
Tables are great, yeah, really clear. And those simple example sentences, they immediately show how the word fits naturally into English. But hang on, couldn't I just use flashcards for this? Like, if I use this next prompt and just have the AI correct me instantly, am I really learning? Or am I just, letting the AI do the work?
That is a great question, and it gets to the core difference. See, when you actively try to use a word and maybe you make a mistake, getting it fixed instantly creates a much stronger memory link. It's active. There's actually a term for this. Neuroscientists call it immediate retrieval practice. The AI is basically giving you this personalized memory workout. It forces you to recall the word correctly right after you tried.
Memory workout, I like that. So how do we trigger this personalized workout? Okay, practical prompt 3. This is for self-correction and practice. You tell ChatGPT, I will provide one word in a sentence using it at a time. Check if I've used the word correctly in a natural context, and then add. Identify errors and offer corrections with brief explanations.
And don't forget those subtle differences, between words that seem similar, like look, see, and watch, or house versus home. Native speakers use these nuances all the time, but they're tricky to grasp just from a dictionary. So use a prompt like this. Explain the difference between word 1 and word 2 in simple terms, using examples suitable for a B1 level. The AI can sort of synthesize that nuance for you right there and then.
Okay, moving on. Grammar. It often feels, overwhelming, doesn't it? Seems like there are just endless rules. How can AI simplify these complex rules without making you feel stuck, that whole analysis paralysis thing?
Right. AI simplifies it by giving you structured explanations, but customized for your level. So instead of reading, say, a dense 10-page chapter in a grammar book, you get a clear, targeted summary with specific examples. tailored just for you.
Okay, so how do we ask for that? Practical prompt 4, explaining rules. You'd ask ChatGPT something like, explain grammar point, for instance, the past perfect tense, using simple language and examples suitable for a B1 level student.
And a really great tip here, always ask the AI to include different forms. The positive, the negative, and the question forms of the example sentences. Maybe even ask for it in a table. That structured approach, it really helps you see how the rule works in different situations.
But the real power is in the conversation, the dialogue, right?
Yeah.
It's not just getting one answer and stopping there.
Exactly. That's the biggest difference compared to a textbook. You can ask follow-up questions. So if you ask about, say, the third conditional, you can then ask, okay, but is the third conditional always about the past? What if I want to talk about something hypothetical, but like right now?
Whoa.
It becomes this continuous conversation, personalized learning that adapts instantly to whatever you're curious about.
Yeah, and we all know that moment. You're writing quickly, maybe an email, and out comes a sentence like, I gone to the beach yesterday. It feels a bit embarrassing, right? But the AI, it just removes that social penalty.
Yeah.
So practical prompt 5 is for that direct correction. If you write a sentence and you're not sure, just ask ChatGPT, is this correct? If not, please correct it and explain why.
And notice that last part. Explain why. This is crucial. It's education, not just correction.
Right.
The AI won't just change I gone to I went. It'll explain why. It'll say something like, you need the past simple form here because it's a completed action in the past. So you learn the rule, hopefully, so you don't make the same mistake again.
Okay, so what does all this mean for reading practice then? We've talked about optimizing input like learning rules and output like writing corrected sentences, but we also need reading input that actually interests you, right? Not just dry textbook stuff.
Definitely. A lot of intermediate learners, B1, B2 level, they struggle to find reading material that's both at the right level and about things they actually find interesting.
But AI can help here too. It's pretty much solved, isn't it? You can just ask ChatGPT, write an engaging, say, 500-word article on, pick a topic you like, the history of coffee or whatever, using simple language that a B1 level learner would understand.
Exactly. Instant, customized, and hopefully interesting reading practice, tailored just for you. Now, this section, I think, addresses maybe the biggest fear for many learners, actually speaking. So many people can read English really well, maybe understand lectures, but they just freeze up when they need to speak, often because they're afraid of the social side, of making a mistake in front of someone. ChatGPT offers completely fearless speaking practice.
Right. When you talk to the AI, you kind of offload all that social anxiety. You can just focus purely on the language, on getting the words out. And that reduction in stress, it lets your brain build fluency faster, doesn't it? Plus, remember, you can use voice mode on your phone or device for direct speaking and pronunciation practice, too. So practical prompt 6 is for general conversation practice. Ask ChatGPT. Act as a friendly person passionate about. Pick a topic again. Maybe travel in Europe. Right. Then say, engage in a back-and-forth conversation with me, keeping your language appropriate for a B1 level. Ask interesting questions to keep the conversation going.
And it does. The AI keeps the dialogue flowing. It mimics a natural conversation partner, which is just essential for building your confidence and learning to think quickly in English.
And we can take this even further, right? Practice really specific situations, high-stakes stuff you might need for real life. This is where we get into targeted preparation. Practical prompt 7, role-play scenarios. Ask ChatGPT to simulate a real situation. For example, act as a waiter at a busy, maybe slightly rude restaurant, and I am a demanding customer. Let's have a natural English conversation where I practice being assertive.
Yeah, these role plays are fantastic. They help you practice the specific functional language you actually need. Things like negotiation language, making polite requests, expressing disappointment, maybe even giving commands politely. Think about, I don't know, the stress of talking to an immigration officer, that feeling of, I have to be perfect.
Yeah.
If you practice that scenario, say, 10 times with the AI, the real encounter feels more like the 11th time, not the scary first time. Okay, so this brings up a really important question, though. We have all these powerful prompts, these great ways to use the tool. But how do we make sure our AI tutor gives us the best possible answers? Because the quality of the output you get really depends entirely on the quality of the input you give it.
Right, and this is what people call prompt engineering. Basically, writing good instructions for the AI. A simple or vague question like just asking, tell me about cars. Well, you'll get a vague, probably useless answer back. That's what we'd call weak prompting.
Exactly. So, a strong prompt, a good prompt, always includes a few key things. One, your proficiency level, like B1 or B2. Two, the format you want, like a table, bullet points, or just a paragraph. And 3, maybe the tone you want, like casual or formal. You need to give the AI really crystal clear instructions.
Okay, clarity is key, but now we also need to talk honestly about some common pitfalls, things to watch out for. There are two major mistakes people often make that can actually, well, damage their learning progress. Mistake number one. Over-reliance, sometimes called cognitive offloading. Basically, if you use AI for every single little task, you stop exercising your own brain, you're kind of outsourcing the difficult thinking work that actually helps you learn.
Yeah, absolutely. For instance, don't use that correction prompt 5, to fix every single email you write before you even think about it. A better way is write the email yourself first, try to check it yourself, then use the AI to find maybe the 2 or 3 mistakes you missed. That way, you are training your internal editor, your own checking skills, not just getting rid of it entirely. Remember, use AI to support your learning, not replace your critical thinking.
Good advice. Okay, mistake number two, skipping the edit and something called hallucination. AI is smart, yes, but it is not perfect. Sometimes the text it generates can sound a bit unnatural, maybe robotic, using complicated words strangely. But worse than that, AI can sometimes hallucinate, which basically means it can just make up false information, invent things.
And in language learning, that can be really dangerous. Hallucination could mean the AI invents a grammar rule that doesn't actually exist, or it misuses an idiom completely. Or maybe insists a word is common when it's actually really old-fashioned or only used in one tiny region. For example, if you ask it to explain the difference between two really complex prepositions, it might just invent a historical reason that is completely untrue.
Wow, okay, so what's the action step here? How do we protect ourselves? It's simple, really. Always revise the text the AI produces, add your own natural voice, check it. Ultimately, you are responsible for the language you learn and use. And maybe use a secondary source, like a trusted online dictionary or grammar site, to double-check any really complex rule or fact the AI gives you, especially if it seems a bit strange. Hashtag tag outro. So this deep dive has really shown you exactly how to transform ChatGPT. To take it from being just a simple chatbot into your own personalized vocabulary coach, your grammar corrector, and even a conversation partner.
Yeah, and if we connect this back to the bigger picture, the goal isn't just fixing mistakes one by one. It is about helping you become a more autonomous, a more confident learner. And ChatGPT can be the framework that helps you manage your entire study path if you use it smartly.
Okay, so here is your final, really powerful step. A way to turn this tool into a full learning system. Try using this final organizational prompt. Tell ChatGPT something like, I am a B1 level student in English. Please create a 3-month study plan for me to improve speaking, listening, and writing skills. And then list the topics you actually care about, maybe business communication or talking about movies.
That prompt gives you a clear, customized plan. It's designed using the power of the LLM, sure, but it's based entirely on your needs and your interests. And that is the difference between just using a tool and actually building your own system for mastery.
So keep practicing, keep improving, and use the power of AI to make English truly your language. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.